All right, it is 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the February 4th Ripon Area Fire District Board meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. Dankert.
Here.
Page.
Here.
Vandenbrink.
Here.
Iverson.
Here.
Krieger.
Here.
Sorensen.
Here.
Gotsky, I'm here. We'll take a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Any public comment? There is no one here from the public to make a comment. Moving on to Secretary's report. Are there any comments on the Secretary's report? Otherwise, I will take a motion to approve January's minutes.
I so moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I know you guys are just getting it, maybe? You didn't get a hard copy before.
I got on my iPad, I sent it away.
Okay, all right. All right, there's no discussion. All those in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Secretary's report is approved. Moving on to the Treasurer's report. If there's anything to call out, Ellen or Doug or anyone, let me know. Otherwise,
I think she put in an accrual as well as an actual for 2024. There's still some things I think we have to discuss about it because I think we went over in some expenditure lines and that money, I guess we'll put it on the agenda for March to see if the board wants to move money from the money market account to cover that that expenditure. I think it was for the air thing, for your air tanks.
The air compressor.
Oh, the compressor.
Yeah, the compressor.
I don't see that on here, but yeah, we can.
Maybe she made that transfer. I haven't talked to her about it, but I can.
okay. I'll add it when we get to it. At the back of the agenda, I'll make a comment that we'll add it to next month's agenda.
Great, thank you. So it looks like we went a little over. I don't think it's as much as 28,000, but that's why I need to talk to Heather to see if we booked all of our revenues, because it looks like we're short on our fees from the municipalities, and I'm not sure why. Because you can see that in the budget versus actuals, and I think that the accrual base only shows 50% of the fire protection fees from the municipalities, and I'm not sure why that is. And this is the second year of us doing the budget, so I think we're closer to understanding what the actual costs are as well as the actual revenues.
Okay.
So do you think it could be something still with the system and the way it reports and the way it's structured?
I'm not sure if it's the system or if we can ask CLA about that, because they monitor the system on a quarterly basis. So I think we're still learning what's what. The cash basis for fiscal year 2024 shows an actual fire protection fees at $433,874, which gives us a better sense of where we actually are with those revenues. It does, I don't think we're that far off.
Ellen, do you think some of this could be just playing catch up with some of the equipment and things that we need?
Oh, absolutely. But I think, and Kevin or John can speak to it, I think we're getting there with that we'd be on a regular maintenance schedule instead of playing catch up, unless there's something I'm not aware of. I think either John or Kevin can speak to that.
Yeah, as far as I know, right? I mean, we have the planning calendar now. Coop and one of the new firefighters have been doing a good job at doing the small maintenance stuff, but as far as the yearly things like SCBAs and the fit and flow testing, all those things have been going on since I've been here. So I think we're in a good cycle. We have it spread out enough now. I know last year was, happened to be like tires. So I'm hoping that, by doing some catch up, I think we can, kind of flatline now and just do it as it comes, without having everything come at once.
Yeah, if you look at the expenditures in line 10-22-00-54-524-10 repair, maintenance, and service equipment, the expenditures were $61,491, and we had budgeted like $27,000. And then again, it was over in operational supply and small equipment. It was over, and repair and maintenance for service and buildings and ground was a little bit over. So, I mean, that's playing catch up on a lot of the maintenance.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, okay, well, that seems clear to me now, what I did before. I want people who are tuning in to watch this and worried about our budget, that it's gonna take a little bit more time as we close that gap and we smooth out maintenance and some other issues that weren't being done and playing catch up, that we are starting to catch up in a lot of areas so that these expenditures are going to decrease and stabilize after a while.
Yeah, and professional services, we were almost 100% over in that line too. And we will not, I can assure you, we will not be using our attorney much this year at all. And that was a lot of, that was part of the expenditures. And we'll have to talk as we get later in the agenda. There's another issue that has presented itself that we've had to talk to Jim Macy about.
We did have maintenance that we hadn't planned on, that you can't plan on too.
Right.
Just, I mean, we had some major things that came up that you wouldn't, it doesn't matter how you do your maintenance, you're still gonna have those ones.
Right. Air compressor was one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Water heater also.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some big issues that we didn't anticipate. But to the extent that I think that we can minimize that with planned, checking things out on the trucks and everything, that does seem, besides the air compressor and the hot water heater, it's mostly truck repair and maintenance on them, on the rolling equipment.
Yeah, you don't know what some of that's gonna be until it happens.
Right, but regular, just checking it out and.
Which they,
Right.
they've been doing that, those trucks go to Renner's schedule. I mean, but some of that stuff you can't get until it goes.
No, you don't know until it happens. I understand that.
So Ellen, are you looking for a motion to approve this or to get more information from Heather before we approve this one?
No, I would approve it with, you can approve it with the caveat that I'll work with Heather and, budget to you expenses in 2024.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report with the note that the numbers will be looked at and adjusted to actuals with Heather and Alan.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion from anyone? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Chief's report? I don't know which one of you started.
I'll start first. Kevin been about there. We'll start with the monthly report. You should all have it, I hope.
Yeah, I got one right here, Cody, I'm sorry.
I don't have it. How many calls did you have?
We're not that far yet.
Oh,
We're just going down the list of them here in front. Nothing totally off the wall. So on the back page, total calls for the month were 22. The daytime shift had 5. No rapid response calls. Mutual aid, 2. Mutual aid received, 0. Total calls for the year, 22.
how does that compare to last year at this time, Chief?
2024 January calls for the month were 36 calls. So we start the year off 14 calls down, which is a good thing.
Okay.
So we don't like to use the word quiet, but it's been very quiet. No grass fires. So it's yeah, very amazing that we've had, all around us have had grass fires except for us. So hopefully with some snow tonight, that'll take care of that problem. Any questions on the call list? Fire calls? I did forget to mention the number of firefighters at the end of December is 17. 1 junior firefighter and 8 part-time members. And then in January, I myself participated along with 2 other firefighters in some ammonia leak training in Fairwater at the canning factory. That was just this past Thursday. We went over and did some training with them. Going down the list here, next fire inspections. To this date, we have 38 completed with the intentions of doing 11 inspections per week. So if we can stick with that 11 inspections per week, we should be in good shape. And if they can get some more done during the week, they're going to do more. And that's all weather pending too. Back when it was 35 below zero out, we weren't taking any engines out in the cold weather. So we found other things to do. So when the weather gets a little better, they might do more. So stay on schedule with those. Next on the agenda is to approve the new hire. I spoke of Jeremiah Hansen at the last meeting about hiring him. He was a previous Ripon firefighter, and he's got lots of credentials and certificates, so he'd fit right in, and so I guess I'm looking to hire him.
Background check all.
Yep,
Yes.
he's a Green Lake County Sheriff Detective, so his background's pretty good.
Never know.
I don't know, it's pretty late.
Well, we can double check it, but I think we did have on your update of the chicken barbecue. We're still a month.
Are we,
Yeah, I was gonna come back to it after that.
oh, okay,
I'll just let
okay,
you finish that, we'll do the action item, and then we'll go.
okay.
Okay.
So the chicken barbecue is moving forward. We're obviously selling tickets. That's March 2nd, I believe it is. So some of you have worked or helped us out in the past. You're more than welcome to come down and just mix and mingle if you want.
When would be a good time for the board to come down, if we wanted to?
You want to wash dishes?
I'd prefer not to, but I'll do whatever.
Because we could have you here at 7 in the morning if you wanted to start on those.
7 in the morning?
For dishes, yeah.
If you want.
I'm joking. If you wanted to be down here like around 10:30.
I mean, I could come the night before if you were doing stuff. I did that before.
March 2nd.
March 2nd is the.
So if you could give me some idea when I could come and I could try to fit it in.
I would try to be here that Sunday
Yeah.
at 10:30.
Okay. All right. You'll have a job for me if I show up.
We'll wait on the dishes for you.
Okay, that'll be fine. Cody will have to help me.
Yeah, approve that.
Yeah.
All right, so before we go to Chief Clone, action item, take a motion to approve offering employment to Jeremiah Hansen.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
So just a quick update. January was a really good month for training. A lot of training happened here in January. The first one we had, because of the weather, cold outside, the first training night we did, it's an emergency response guidebook. So it's a book that lists all kinds of different types of chemicals, whether it's through the highway by semi or by rail. So we learned about placards and what they mean, and then the book also said, depending on what kind of chemical it is, how far, what should the firefighters do as an awareness level department? What do we need to do to help stop, whether it's, how far do we need to evacuate, those types of things. So we spent a good, I don't know, there was about 15 pages it was almost like homework. So the crew split up into teams. They had like 15 pages of questions that they were able to go through this guidebook and figure out the answers for, and then we reviewed some of them, and so it went really well. And then the second night of training, which was last night, we did SAWS, driver operator, and then they did search and rescue and hose advancement. So a lot of good training. And then for the fire officer class, we did strategies and tactics when they arrive on scene. When the officers arrive on scene, we talked about different methods of fire attack. And so that was a really good class also. And then I've been working on the next 2 months, so February and March for the officers. We're gonna have a instructor come in, and we're gonna work on, it's called Blue Card, but it's a method of a thought process for fire officers as far as language, communication, that type of thing. So we'll be going through having, whether it's a residential building, commercial, industrial, there'll be flames on pictures, and then we'll go through communications with radios and size up and kind of doing some live stuff. And so that'll be for the next couple months, but we're just starting to get that ready now. So that should be good for the officers as we move ahead. So pretty much just, like I said, helping Heather get through different questions, and I've done a couple inspections with the crews. I was up at Alliant Energy. We did some flow testing in the new building up in the industrial park. So just, periodic things to help Heather with questions and paperwork and stuff through, whether it's the state or NFPA or whoever is asking questions and documenting things. So, but yeah, things are going well. Like I said, Jeremiah started this last month, and he's been at all the trainings. I talked to him a little bit last night. He's excited about getting back on, and so things are looking good. So that's it for me.
Anybody have any questions for the chiefs before we move on? All right, moving to PAA update. Ellen, since I talked to you last, has there been any update?
No, I just know that I think I said this last month, it was a draft given to the city and it was sent back for revisions. So I don't know that we'll even see it in February. It might be March before we see anything.
Okay. All right, policies and procedures. I do have a note brought up by Doug. Doug, do you want to mention it, or do you want me to mention it?
Yeah, I'll mention it. Let me just get to where it is. It says here that it's policy 1.8, and I will note that it says equipment replacement fund. Equipment replacement fund is 1.7. So we certainly, with this new policy, we don't want that to be we don't want that to be equipment replacement fund. So I would strike that.
Well, wait a minute. What's the top of the heading? What is the heading for the whole administrative? There are currently 7 things. What does this top section say?
It says administrative policies and procedures, storage location of fire district records.
Right, and that's why I put it under that, because that seemed to be the best category. There are a variety of things going on there.
Ellen, I agree with that, but on the printout here, it says policy 1.8 : equipment replacement fund.
Yeah, so your text here of the policy is all about fiscal responsibility, like checking the mail, incoming payments.
And there is no 1.8 currently. This is new, but the heading is the same as 1.7.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right, Doug. You're right.
So I would move to strike the equipment replacement fund, keep it as policy 1.8, and whatever we come up with was best. I just think it was an oversight.
It is. Thank you very much for catching that.
Okay, so what are we gonna need a new name for it?
We have to pick something. Do you have an idea, Ellen? I mean, we could do something just like finance oversight.
Yep, that would be perfectly fine.
Okay, financial oversight.
Financial oversight, okay. Yeah, for 1.8. It's the same number. All right, any other discussion? Otherwise, we're talking about policy 1.8 in the agenda, but the name is financial oversight. Otherwise, I'd take a motion to approve with that change in the title.
I personally think this would be fine, and if we need to revisit that in maybe 6 months or whatever, we want to reword it or something, I think it's fine. I mean, we should be looking at things on a yearly basis to see if it still makes sense, if it's usable in the way it's done. So I think this would be a good starting point, and it may be fine for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it's timely, right? I mean, with Chief Wallner's, everything that came out in the paper.
Yeah.
It's comments about how we need more financial oversight, so. Makes sense to me.
Did you move there?
I move, so we have an action item here. I move that we change policy 1.8 from equipment replacement fund to financial oversight, numbers staying the same, and I'll make a motion to approve this as presented.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Any Pierce Manufacturing update?
No.
Okay. Moving on to new business, ETF health insurance credit.
Oh, boy. Kevin, did Heather talk to you about this?
She did, and she has made a couple phone calls, had some inquiries, and she has not heard back from the lady that she had talked to as of today. So.
We received a notice that we have about a $2,700 credit at the state for health insurance. And I'm not quite sure why we have that, because we were paying the former chief for his own health insurance so he could go to the market. So I don't know if Gary or Barry knows why we would have a $2,700 credit for health insurance, because Heather's been trying to find out who it was for.
We
Don't know.
personally we weren't offering that, so.
Well, that's what we thought, and then we didn't think it was being offered because there was a monthly stipend for health insurance, and I thought, listening to conversations, that was to go to the market to get health insurance. So to find out we have nearly a $3,000 credit for the state health insurance is pretty confusing.
How long has it been there? Any idea?
I think it was for 2022, because now what they want to do, and this is great for our budget, they're going to apply it to the Wisconsin retirement account, which we pay firefighters. So it's a benefit to us, but it's a curious it's a curious matter.
Yes, it is.
So in essence, this is something that the district had paid to the state to use for health insurance, and then we never used, or it was never applied to anything, and now the state is wondering what to do with it.
Well, the state's giving us the credit. We're wondering why was it being paid when a stipend was being given to the former chief? We're confused. And that's what Heather's been trying to figure out and get a hold of somebody at the state to tell her who this was applied to.
Yeah, get some details.
Is this like too deep in the weeds when they do an audit? I mean, when they did an audit for 23 of the 22 finances, shouldn't they have shown $3,000 came out?
You know, you're only as good as the information you're given for an audit.
Sure.
Yeah, that's not a huge.
If it was, I know they spot check. They don't
if
do
it
the
was
whole
monthly,
thing.
if it was a monthly payment too, that it's not that that's not a amount of money, but when you're looking at a whole budget, it's not.
Well, I know we never had a budget line for it.
Right.
No, because we weren't paying it.
Yeah.
Well, we were paying it at some point.
Yes.
That's why we spread it.
I'm trying to find, what day did I send that to you, Ellen? Do you remember?
About 10 days ago, I think, Doug.
Okay, so that would put it around the end of January.
Yeah, I think around the 29th, because I know Heather's been trying to get somebody at the state to, because she wanted to have a name of who was utilizing that.
Right.
With the name.
Okay.
That's all I know right now.
Okay.
Okay, well, I can share this after I find it, so we can just finish up the meeting.
All right, so agenda items for the future meetings. I have to come back to financials and make sure that the accruals and cash basis line up correctly with you and Heather. Is that accurate?
Yep.
And come back to the ETF health insurance credit.
Yep, and PAA if there's an update,
And PA if there's an update.
and Pierce Manufacturing if there's an update.
We'll just use the same agenda.
Well, I need to have those notes when I start putting the agenda together. And when Heather's not at these meetings, you have to rely on my memory, and that's not the best thing in the world.
Anybody else have anything for future agenda? All right, just to
Well,
know.
update on the, that'll be update on the chicken barbecue.
Oh yeah, and update on the chicken barbecue.
Yeah, that's true. We should hear how it went. We'll know how it went.
All right, so our next regular meeting is March 4th, 2025, same time, 7 p.m. We're going to be adjourning in a second. Riley, we're going to adjourn, and we're going to come back into closed session. Going to come back into open session after. So we'll need to,
Okay.
just so you know. All right. I will take a motion to adjourn to closed session, subject to 19.851, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility.
So moved.
Take a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion is adjourned to closed session as of 7:29 p.m. All right, we're back in open session at 8:07 p.m. to discuss the status of fire prevention specialist search as an action item.
I'll make a motion to hire the fire prevention specialist as recommended by the chiefs.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. There are no other topics, so I'll take a motion to close tonight's meeting.
To adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned at 8:08 PM.